What's going on, folks? Painless Risen. Uh, you see the title, and I've steered clear of this particular topic, as many of you all know my videos in the past, for a very, very, very long time. And there's reasons behind that because it became exhausting. It became, I began to hear and say the same things over and over. And it was just tired, stating the obvious. Others have taken that torch and have ran with it in terms of this topic. And I felt there was I didn't have anything else to say. I didn't need to say anymore. But there's certain individuals that bring you back into the fold, and and enough is enough. I'm done playing with fools, and sometimes you just hear stuff and you just gotta say, you know what? Enough is enough. Let me go on and squash this chatter and be done with it. Listening to opposition, it's never been an issue with me. In fact, it's something that I like to do because you need to hear other people's opinions to formulate arguments, opinions, counter opinions, and it gives you a clearer understanding when you understand or try to understand the opposition's mind state and how they cultivate these types of thoughts. But I've said before, I listened to Brother David Carroll's video and and he was dovetailing off another YouTube creator's video. The whole thing with Cynthia G and the whole who they choose, it's so obvious. And like Brother David Carroll, it's so obvious to squash, to defeat, and to really just put to bed. It's obvious she picks, and let me just put this disclaimer on here. I am no way going to bat. I'm in no way promoting that black men should go out here and deal with in what she calls women of the dominant society. You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. I'm not promoting it. I'm not against it. I'm indifferent to it. But this whole idea of cherry picking, and it is cherry picking, and stonewalling that she promotes with the Who They Really Choose series that she has. She gets these guys that are obviously, and I'm no better than anyone, but she gets guys that are vulnerable. You have a lot of black men today, and I look on social media and I can see their Facebooks that they decide not to make private. And I just ran across a brother. He had to be early 40s. And he was with a Caucasian woman. No issue, no problem, in Painless's eyes. But this brother he had to be, I give him about my age. I'm in my early 40s. And this brother was it's hard times. But you could just look at the decisions that this brother made to where he is my age, and you're a Dairy Queen crewman. Brother, you are 42, probably 43 years old, and you're working at Dairy Queen as a crewman, making blizzards. How you know he's making blizzards, Painless? It's fucking Dairy Queen. That's what they make. And that's what you gonna do if you a crewman at Dairy Queen. You gonna make belt busters and blizzards. That's what you gonna make. And I said to myself, and the young lady he was with, the Caucasian woman, again, no issues. She was a little, no, she was a lot overweight. And she had, I was able to click on her Facebook profile, and she had no pictures of him. She had pictures of family, had pictures of kids, normal, but she had no pictures of him. And I scrolled for a while down to check. And I've talked about that black men, you get in, and I'll give what Cynthia G says, a lot of the things that she says are exact. Black men that delve in these types of interracial relationships, they end up adopting that woman's, not adopting, but they end up being in that woman's frame. And the reason they end up being in the frame is because, first off, in the so-called black community, we don't really have a definitive culture in terms of norms, protocols, and things like that as other groups. So we're kind of just wondering. And then I revert back to the brother from Dairy Queen, the crewman. When you are that age, brother, and you are, and work is work. Let me go on and clarify this. Work is work. If you're 17 to 25, you're in school or whatever, no problem being a Dairy Queen crewman. Work is work. You should never feel that you know better you should never feel that you better to do a occupation. Work is work. But when you're 42, 43, 45, and that's what you have going for you, that's not a good look. And unfortunately, there are a lot of brothers that are in these positions. Now, where I'm going to counter to Cynthia G, guys like myself, independent. I don't need a woman here to pay my bills. I don't need a roommate or anyone like that. I'm self-sustainable. Yeah, I don't work for myself. I work for someone. But most people work for someone. And there's nothing wrong with working for someone. But I do promote entrepreneurship and I support entrepreneurship. But that's neither here nor there, because most people in America work for themselves and work for someone else. But I'm self-sustainable. So what about guys, and I've said this in another video, what about guys like myself, Cynthia G? Oh, guys like myself, like Painless, we can just discredit them. We can just, they think they're the prize. See, men are in my situation, that can provide for themselves, that don't need to practice homosexual behavior in which a man shacks up with a woman, probably doesn't find her any type of attractive, but he needs shelter. I don't need to do that. And I found that women that see or deal with men such as myself, they low-key have issues with that. And I know some of the brothers that listen to me, my white brothers, my Hispanic, my brothers, Asian brothers, whoever, others, pay attention next time if you're in a position that where you can be like that, self-sustaining. Pay attention. Women, they really low-key have an issue with you being independent. I had a woman run up here and tell me there's no way you should have this big old place. This was when I was somewhere else. You got too much room in here to be by yourself. Now, what she was really saying is, this is what she was really saying, that you have too much access to women because of the position that you're in, and that you need someone up in here to share this great space because of that. And I nominate myself. That's what she was really saying. Peep game, guys. Women love to control dusties. And they control them through finance, resources, and such. That's how it goes. A guy like Painless, Cynthia G doesn't talk about guys like myself. And when she does, when we know our worth, she downplays it and calls it a feminine trait. Guys that are dusty and are who they choose, those guys have no value. Those guys are desperate. They are who they choose. But on the same note, guys who can choose, guys that don't need to practice homosexual behaviors, we are looked at as being feminine for understanding and highlighting our worth. I mean, I don't get it. If you listen to some of her rhetoric, guys, there was a story in which a brother had I believe he graduated from law school, and he had taken an Instagram picture, on social media, congratulating, making it be known that, hey, I've graduated law school. Which I would imagine is pretty difficult work. It takes some discipline. And he was, celebrating, stunting, whatever. And a lot of women, black women, took that as, and what his caption was I'm the prize. Some of you all may know exactly what I'm talking about. He was saying, I am the prize. And black women went off. Who did mean the prize? And a lot of black women and followers of black women, i.e. Latinos, Asians, who are really have this wigger thing going on. These are the types of Asian women and Hispanic women that wear cornrows and try to project themselves. Your Cardi B's, in other words. Just get straight to the point. Your Cardi B type white, Hispanic, Asian women. Wigger women, that's what I call them. They was on his bumper. They was on his head. What does he mean he's the prize? That's so feminine. Who says that? What kind of man says he's the prize? It's because we are. And I've said this, Cynthia G. Men, women, you cannot do what men do. We can go around and deal with multiple types of women sexually, companionship, because we're men. That's our nature. You women, you're not. That's not in your nature. Yes, there's some promiscuity. We're very promiscuous species. We are. But there's a stigma when a woman deals with different types of men. And don't be mad that we can access a variety of types of women. Now there are consequences due to our social, you know, our social climate in terms of race, status, who has resources. As my example with the Dusties and guys like myself who know that they're the prize, which you don't speak on. And when you speak on, you dismiss us as being feminine by understanding and knowing that. We're like the guys. We're like the guys that women of Cynthia G's ilk don't know what to do. Because we have the resources. So can't say we don't have resources. Okay. We're self-sustaining. That debunks the idea that black men don't know how to take care of themselves, don't know how to put themselves in positions, in an advantage. So that knocks that out. Okay. So what do you do with that, Cynthia G? Guys that are the prize, that have the things that you claim we're employed. So I'm gainfully employed. That knocks that out, which she likes to tout and really put out there. You know how, if she loves to talk about black women being the most employed versus that of black men, and that the black men that are employed tend to make more, and here comes the feminism, angle coming in. I've ran into so many black women that don't have and I'm talking 39, 40, upwards of 47, nice looking women, nice looking sisters that don't have, and this is pre-COVID, that don't have their SHIT together. And a lot of that comes from these women. See what has happened and what goes on, and this is across the color spectrum. What you have now is, guys, you can attest to this, women that listen to me, that know what's going on. You know I don't speak. I just tell it like it is. What you have is a lot of women that have squandered off their early 20s, mid-20s, and now when they're 39, 42, they have 16-year-old, 18-year-old, 17-year-old. I know a woman who is, how old is this girl? She's 30, no, she is 40, nice looking, that has a 2-year-old child. And it's so, and when I talk to her, I keep her at bay. Because first off, I'm not entertaining a woman long-term with a 2-year-old. That is not up for debate. I'm not doing that. And this is a nurse. This is a nurse. See, Cynthia G doesn't talk about these types of black women. Now, in order to become a nurse, you have to take statistics, which I've taken, which was a little difficult for Painless. I got out of there with a C, though. You have to take immunization courses, different levels, 101, 301 probably, biology, 101, 201, 301, 401. You're taking some courses that require thought and discipline and study. Now, I know you all know where I'm going with this. You would think that someone that is in that profession that had to put in that work wouldn't have a 2-year-old at 38. See, what you have in this, amongst a lot of black women that have these degrees, they don't have the sense that comes with that. They're frauds. You have all this education, yet you're 38 years old with a 2-year. Well, she had the child at 38. You're 40 years old with a 2-year-old. And it's got to the point to where I know and this is the shame, and I've said we need to bring back shame. We need to bring that back ASAP. I said that, I can tell that she knows she is of low value. And it's kind of sad. It's almost sad. Because she's an attractive woman. And most guys, the ones who know their worth, who are the prize, will not deal with that. Now, Dusty's will, in which Cynthia G likes to hone in on. And there's, these types of women are just high and by. Well, Painless, why are you dealing with those types of... Well, these are things that I discover in the midst of getting to know. And then I take mental notes and I keep them in bay and I keep moving on. But a guy with prize that knows his worth is not going to deal with no woman long term like that. Now, we may have some relations, safe, because, and then, I speaking to this young lady, I'm at the edge of my seat wanting to ask where the baby daddy is. But you know what? That's none of my business because I'm not trying to get to know you like that. But it's, so Cynthia G, in other words, cut the shit, okay? You can't knock black men for upgrading and then knowing their worth and then call us effeminate. And I don't compete with women. I just know my worth. And then I know the same things, the arguments that you use against black men, I can easily use for a lot of you sisters out here. I mean, Cynthia G, you seem to have a lot of time to do a lot of content. A lot of time. What do you have going on for yourself other than YouTube and Patreon? Peace.